Hello, I'm John Adams, editor of Digital Photo, and welcome to this video lesson which is all about adding outlines to text. It's the sort of thing you might want to do if you're adding a caption to an image, or indeed if you're making a greetings card or something like that. And that's probably one of the best examples, the greetings card. So we've got this nice little floral shot here, and we're going to add a good old-fashioned caption, happy birthday, to it. So before we can add an outline, we first need to get some text onto the screen, so let's get that done. All you need to do is click on the type tool, so we click on that, and then we need to click on the image in the place where we want our type to go. So I'll just click down here, and I'll hold down my caps lock and type in happy birthday. That's a pretty typical caption. I'm just going to change it into two decks of copy. So we'll click just before the B and hit the return key, and there we have happy birthday. Now I want that to look slightly different because it's not big enough and I want it to be centered. So what I'm going to do is select all of the text by just highlighting it, just as you would in a word processor. Then I'm going to click the center text icon here, which will make sure it goes centrally in the way it's arranged. And then we need to choose a different font. Now I'll go for a typical sort of greeting cards font, which is something like Comic Sans. So we'll just click where the fonts are. What fonts you have on your system will depend on what's actually there. These aren't fixed by Photoshop or anything like that. It's down to what's actually on your system and what you've installed. So we'll find the one we want. There it is, Comic Sans. Click on that, and then we need to make our font size a bit bigger. Now let's just go into the size here. We'll try 48, maybe a bit larger than that. 60, that's perhaps too big. If you don't have the actual size you want listed here, all you need to do is just key on it like so, or either highlight it, then you can key in the custom size that you want. Let's say 55, something like that. That looks pretty good. Now we can simply just move it into position. Round about there should be good. Okay, so there's our happy birthday on the front of our card. Now we don't want it to be black in this sense. We want to use a different color. And what you can do is actually use this color swatch in the options bar. Using the type tool, you get this color swatch here. You can use that to change the color. Click on it and you get your color picker. But here's another way I'm going to show you, and it's a way in which you can add an outline as well. And that's by using the Layer Styles palette. Now this color here, which is your text color, that's imported directly from the foreground color swatch here. But another way to get to it, to color this text, is simply to go to Layer, Layer Style, and choose Color Overlay. This one here, click on that, and your Color Overlay part of the Layer Style dialog box will pop up on screen. And you can see the text has gone red because that's what's set in the Color Overlay part of the Layer Style palette at present. Here it is here, the red. Now to change that, all we have to do is click on this icon here, this little color swatch next to the blend mode. Click on that and you get your color picker. Now you can use it traditionally in the sense of you just move the slider around to whatever color you want, maybe a yellow or something, and you could select the yellow there. Or you can select directly from the image instead. So if we just move this to one side, we can actually pick on perhaps one of these vibrant pink colors that's already in the picture. That looks pretty good. So we'll click on the pink here, and that means that the color of our text is already a color that's used quite prominently within the image itself. So far so good. So we click OK to that to accept it. And then before moving away from layer styles, we're actually going to do our outline here as well, and that's by using something called stroke. Now some of you may have come across stroke before from the edit stroke command. And all stroke is putting an outline on a selection. Normally you'd have a row of marching ants around something, you go to edit stroke in the normal edit menu, and you actually stroke or put an outline around that set of marching ants. But using the Layer Style palette with text, you can do it straight off. If we just tick stroke down at the bottom, and make sure you tick it as well as selected, it has to be highlighted. So don't just tick the box, make sure that stroke is clicked on itself. We then add a stroke in the color we see here. And there's a little preview here that shows you the pink inside and the red outside, because red is chosen as the color for our stroke. If we increase the size, you can perhaps see it a bit more clearly. Now I think that's a bit gaudy as it stands, and something like a clean white would be the best effect on this one. So if we just change the color, click on the color box, and we'll go for a nice straightforward white color. Click up in the top corner. That gives us a nice white. Click OK to that, and then we just need to adjust the size of the stroke, and we need to take that down a bit, so we just move it back. Something like that should be fine. And you can see what we have is a really nice clean stroke around the image. Now that's probably enough for a greetings card if you want to put an outline around the text. But if you want to add a drop shadow as well, or indeed any of these other effects to the layer, you can do. Just click on drop shadow, for example, and you can set up a nice subtle drop shadow around the outside of the text. Here we have the shadow color. There it is, black. We've got a multiply blending mode. That's always the best one to use for drop shadow effects. Opacity of about 75% should be okay. There's the angle. That's how the shadow actually appears, whereabouts it falls on the background after it's been cast by the text. All we need to do is adjust the distance. And there we can see the shadow forming just down here. The spread and the size of it. So something like that should be okay. Now it looks pretty good. Just a gentle drop shadow. That's too much on the size. Yeah, that's okay. That just helps it stand out a little from the background. There we go. On top of that, you could also use bevel and emboss. That gives an interesting effect to the text. Gives it more of a 3D appearance. But in this instance, I'm going to keep that switched off because I think it works better just in a 2D appearance as it's seen there. Right, when you're happy with the way you've outlined your text, just click OK. And all of that information is saved in the Layers palette. And you can see it there. Where it says FX, that means a layer style has been applied to that particular layer. And the great thing is, if you're not sure whether it works or not, or you want to see it before and after, you can switch off the effects. Simply by clicking on the visibility icons, you can switch them off to see how it looks with and without your various effects. So that's a nice quick way to color text and add an outline to it. Hope you enjoyed that. Give it a try, and next time you're designing your own greetings cards, try some text effects. Thanks for listening. See you next time.